desktop computer hard drive. This one was a thin hard drive. This particular one was an Inspiron 3521 Dell, and what I was getting was a media fail error message, and ran a disk check, and that's what it was. It was a bad hard drive. So here it is. Also, I needed to make a recovery disk so I could recover the operating system and all that. Okay, hopefully you never need this information, but if you did, you do. I need a new hard drive. I've got an error on the hard drive. This is on a Dell Inspiron 3521, and what I want to do is, this might take a second, but there's a hard disk problem, as you can see here, and what I've got is my hard drive is about to fail, so I need to hurry up and get this done before it does fail. What I need to do is I'm going to change the hard drive. Now, I bought a new hard drive online, and I just bought the same one. You know, it might have been a good time to change to an SD hard drive or something, and this is on my friend's computer, but I actually got just the exact one to match. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to come up to we are going to go to, I don't want that right now. Okay, it's not going to matter because I'm changing the hard drive. No point in registering, right? Okay, so we're going to back up, and we're going to create recovery media. Okay, and what I've got here is a USB drive. Now this one actually may not be big enough, so I may need to find or use a bigger hard drive. I actually have some bigger hard drives for that external hard drive that I can use. This one's 4 gigabytes. It's actually been munched once before, but it still works. So we're going to see. Strongly recommend that you create an external copy of the Dell software image that was installed. Okay, so that's what we want to do. We want to create an external image of the Dell software, so that way we can reload all that software, the Windows, the operating system, you know, all that good stuff, back onto the new hard drive once we change out the hard drive. So we're creating the recovery media. And then, as long as I have enough room, it's going to tell me how much space it's going to take. You know, obviously, I've got about 3.73 space left on this, and it may erase the this deal when I do it anyway, which is fine. I don't need anything else on here. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in to the USB drive. Can scan and fix that. Repair the drive. Okay, so that's done. That was easy. We've already done that, so I'm just going to skip that. Okay, so now we're going to go click create recovery media. And yes. Okay, and we're going to do the factory backup, and we're going to select device USB flash drive, hit continue. This is going to tell me if we have enough room here, as it calculates the amount of space that it's going to take. So hopefully it's less than 4 gigabytes. Now, in the process of trying to figure out what was wrong, I wound up wiping the computer and starting over, which I could have actually done this first instead of wiping the computer, but at the time I didn't know that I needed a hard drive. The computer is under warranty, so I could have taken it in. The problem is that they don't do this particular phase of it, so I actually could still take it in under warranty, but hey, look at that. The amount of data we need is 11.35 gigabytes. So my SD card is not going to be big enough, so I'm going to grab a hard drive or something bigger, and we'll be right back to get it done. Okay, so I had to go back to the drawing board, and what I found was I have a 32 gigabyte external drive here, so that'll be enough. This is going to take like 11.5 gigabytes, so I'll plug this in here, It's going to erase everything off this drive when it makes the drive. So I'm going to select the USB flash drive. I'm not going to bother scanning because it's going to format it anyway. So here we go. Factory backup. It's going to calculate again the amount of data that it's going to take. And well, this is a good little hard drive. Survived being chewed up by a dog, but it's only 4 gigabytes and I need like 11.5 gigabytes. So here goes. There it is. So saying we have 29.1 gigabytes left. We only need 11.35, and it's going to erase everything else that's on there anyway. So here goes. I hit start. Warning, your USB flash drive will be formatted during this process, and all the partitions and data present will be lost. So we're going to click yes, and here we go. Now it's initializing, and now it's collecting the files, and now it's writing the files. That's good news. Once this is all finished, we'll be able to install the new hard drive and change it out, and then we'll take everything from the little external USB stick and transfer it over. Okay, so while it was running, Windows kicked in and says that it's detected a hard disk problem and start the backup process. Of course, we're already in there, so I'm hoping that if I just close this out, that we're still doing our backup there. So I was just able to ignore that, and I closed that out. Made me think for a second the backup might have failed, but no, just that's Dell prompting to get this done. Anyway, I was pretty lucky on this that it tells you that the hard drive was about to fail, so it gave me a chance to recover it. But a good reason you want to create a recovery disk early on for your computer, just in case something goes wrong with the hard drive like this, so head it off. So good to have a backup, a hard backup of the system. So yeah, I was pretty lucky here. Alright, creation ended successfully. I actually did have that same deal come up a couple more times, so I just had to close out where it was prompting me to start the backup, or the recovery disk, which we already had going. So ready to change the hard drive and switch it all over, so I'll get that going now. Okay, so now that that's done, we can hit OK. And we're done there. So yeah. Ready to pop out the hard drive. Let's see here. Go over to, yeah, this part doesn't matter too much. I'm in my Dell. We've already got our recovery media. So I'm going to close this out and just going to shut down the computer. Now, since I'm changing the hard drive, I don't really care too much about, you know, I'm just going to hard shut it off by holding the button down, turn it off. There we go. And we're ready to change out the hard drive. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug the computer and close it up, flip it over. Now at this point you want to make sure that you don't have any static electricity built up on your hands. So what I'm doing is just grab the metal edge of this table here, make sure I'm grounded. So got a little finishing screwdriver here. Going to pop the screws out the bottom plate here, and this will give us access. It's just 2 screws, and then it pulls out here. And our hard drive is right here. What we've got on the hard drive is 2 screws here. So here's 1 and 2. You want to make sure you're using a screwdriver that's not magnetized, because you don't want to mess up the read of the disk, because it uses you know, magnets to store the information, so we don't want to mess up the old hard drive or the new hard drive. can see my screwdriver is not magnetized. Once you pull out those two screws, you've got this little pull tab here. But what you want to do is go ahead and push the disc over so that it unplugs from the port here. And then we're going to use this little pull tab to lift up and pull it on out. And there's our old hard drive. And what we're going to do is we're going to change this for the new hard drive. Here's my brand new hard drive. I was able to get it off eBay. Somewhere around 40 bucks I think I paid for it. Okay. On the old hard drive we've got this mount clip that we're going to need to recover. It just has two screws, one on each side, that hold that in. So, easy enough, and we'll put that on the new hard drive. Okay, and there's our old hard drive. Set that over there for safekeeping. And then going to open up my new hard drive. Again, a good point to make sure that you haven't built up any static electricity. Just to touch the metal portion of the the deal. So here's the back side. Pretty much this little mounting clip only goes in one way. It goes, this is the back of it. If you tried to put it on this way, you'll see it won't line up properly, so that's kind of nice. And you want to make sure that you're the disc side up here, and our SATA plugs are pointing the correct direction, which is up to slide into the SATA port. Now this one's a 500 gigabyte Seagate thin hard drive. So, but if I had it to do over again, I might look into converting this to a solid state hard drive. But this is, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I wouldn't do it that way. I don't know. It just depends. Anyway, here's putting our screws in. Only slightly more challenging in that the screwdriver is not magnetized, which is important for the hard drive, so you can't just, pick up your screw. And they are tiny, so getting them in there is, you want to do this in a way that you're not going to lose any screws, especially down into the computer, which I'm probably not doing a good example of showing. I'm just going to be real careful and get it done, but you do want to take precautions not to have that happen. We don't want any free roaming screws all of a sudden down in the mix. Anyway, get my screws tightened up here on the new hard drive. There we go. And again, this is useful, the little plastic tab for getting it down in there. And what we're going to do is slide it down into place, push it forward. Okay. And now we're going to slide it over, and then we're going to use that tab to lift it up and back it up into the port, into the SATA port. Okay. Once you've got a good seat there, we can put our screws back in right here. And right here. Okay, we're ready for our cover. And that's it. Now once we've got this in, screw those down. Once we've got that in, we're ready to boot up the computer and do the hard drive install. Okay, there we go. Now we're ready for the software, the recovery disk. So now we're going to open it up, turn on the computer. You know, to make things safer, when I changed the hard drive, we might have pulled out the battery, but I did it the way there with the battery plugged in, no big deal. So we've got no boot drive, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in my USB drive that's got the deal in, and I might start over there. You can either press any key, or I'm just going to start over. And here we go. Now we're going to try to boot from the drive. And it's going to let it go through. It's loading files. Seems like it's going through. Now we're just going to let it go. It's loading files automatically. It didn't have to go into the boot menu or anything like that. Hopefully it's going to work. So there we go. The window's coming up. Please connect the AC adapter to continue. Your computer cannot be safely restored while it is powered by the battery. So I've got my plug here that we had unplugged before. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. And very nice that it prompts us on these things. Okay, the Dell Backup and Recovery will get your computer restored and running. Smart Repair will attempt to repair your system. So we're going to hit the next button. Alright, checking our PC, initializing, analyzing the drive, and analyzing the boot file. So far so good. It's pretty automated, pretty automatic, which makes it nice, you know. That's the way to do a computer, is to have it work the way you think that it should work, and have the computer do some of the you know, stuff for you that you used to have to go in and do manually. I think in the future that's how computers will be, where you'll just tell the computer what to do and it'll understand what you mean for it to do and just do it automatically. Get the software out of the way, get the programming part out of the way, and be a little bit more intuitive, which would be nice. So now it's just the waiting game of letting it do its thing. Creating the recovery little deal took about a half hour, 45 minutes, something like that. Long enough to be long enough, you know, is what it is, but kind of nice. Glad I didn't have to contact Dell to get the recovery information, especially because the serial numbers seem to be worn off the bottom. It had just a sticker, so you think it would be engraved somewhere, but it wasn't. So I'm going to put the old hard drive in this little packet for now. Alright, Dell Backup and Recovery did not find any issues on your PC. Please click on Next to reinstall your operating system. Click Next. Okay. Select the backup you want to use, which is right there, and hit Next. Now I expect this will probably take some time. So, but it's going through preparing the hard drive. It's going to restore the data, restore the system, and finalize. Yeah, at this point you can't cancel this, so that's probably why they wanted you to make sure it was plugged in, so that it didn't, the battery didn't die in the middle of doing the process. So that's good. Let this go, and I'll be right back. So now it's showing me the progress. I'm at 2% now, and it just looks like it's going to take a while, just like it did creating the backup. 3%. Yeah, it's going. Okay, 99% completed. This actually went much faster than creating the backup did. This took about 10 minutes versus about half hour, 45 minutes to actually make the backup disk. I guess I'm not done yet, but just got a little excited that it's at 99%, so that's great. Everything seems to be working so far like it should, so we're going to see. Take a little more time here. So it says restoring your system, storing your data, and finalizing. This laptop was only about 6 months old, and it actually was under warranty. Before I realized that it was still under warranty, I had already ordered the hard drive for it, but I'm actually kind of glad I did, because I called the store and asked about the warranty, and what would have happened is I would have had to take it in, and then the parts would have been under warranty. They would have shipped the whole thing off to Kentucky. I'm in California. They would have shipped it off to Kentucky. Then they would have put in a new hard drive. Then they would have sent it back. Then I would have needed to contact Dell in order to get the recovery for the Windows 8 and all that, you know, the operating system. So anyway, much easier this way. So glad, you know, of course it's not finished yet, but so glad that this seems to be working out. And you know, maybe this voids the warranty, but it kind of sucks that 6 months in the hard drive's already dying. But what are you going to do? You know, everything has bumps in the road. It wouldn't be a road without a few bumps. So anyway, this is it. And some bumps give a little traction. So hopefully you guys get to learn something from this, and I get to learn something as going through the process. Anyway, a little recovery, a little restoration, and bring it back up to where it's supposed to be. Yeah, here goes. Okay, the green bar is getting to the end. It's been probably another 10-15 minutes. So you know, it does take some time. If you're going to do this, you're probably going to want to slate at least, you know, 2 to 3 hours, probably 3 hours, just in case, because you never know, something you know, takes a little bit longer. So it's better to have the time available and ready to do this and be prepared for that, because it can take some time. All right, seems like we're going into some happy shuffle here. Finalizing, that's great. So kind of funny, you got to take those progress bars with a grain of salt. It's just because it says 99%. That it actually took another 10-15 minutes after the 99%. So that last 1%, you know. But hey, at least they tell you something's going on. There we go. Progress 100% complete. Recovery complete. And now we're ready to restart. So I'm going to do that now. Yeah. And I suppose I could have unplugged the USB port before restarting, but I'm just going to do it with the USB port still installed. Let's see how it goes. So we've got our Windows kind of logo coming up there. Alright, we are restored. So now it's just going to be going through the setup. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the USB plug since we're all done there. And I'm going to select the United States and blah 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 blah. Get it all set up. I don't think you need to see any of this stuff anymore. But anyway, that's how you can replace the hard drive and do the recovery to a USB stick. And get your computer up and running again. Yeah, I didn't have to send the whole computer to Kentucky. So I'm glad, good to go there. Okay, here's United States, English, US, next. Okay, good to go. Computer is back in business. Okay, here it is, back in business. So what I'm going to do is, I was getting a hard disk error anytime the system started, okay? And so what I'm going to do is go in and check and make sure that we don't have any problems on the hard drive. When I would go over here and check my Dell, it would check the system and it was giving me a service code error telling me that I had hard drive errors on the hard drive. So that's how this whole thing started. Originally started with a media fail was the original message, and also was getting like the blue screen of death, you know, on occasion. Not every time, but so here we go. I'm gonna connect to the internet. I had to go through and set all this stuff up, and that takes a little process. Again, this entire thing, you know, really probably took about 3 hours to finish and complete. So, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. And so now we're going to check the system information. This time, everything is good. Your PC is healthy. That's great. I can do a checkup here and just make sure system scan has not been performed. So we're going to run the scan, run PC checkup. We're in here, and we're going to run the default scan. Yeah, so here's the old hard drive. You know, yeah, it's not completely dead. It's just saying that it's about to die. But anyway, change it out. Okay, here we go. We'll run the default scan. Just gonna make sure everything's good. And this can take a little time, so I'll check back in with you. Let it run through its thing. Right away, I think I was getting a couple fails on a couple of these different things for the hard drive itself. So that's where my errors were. So far, so good. With passed. And right about here was where it was failing. So far, so good. Okay, so far, so good. Everything's passed. It's just on the last one now, which is the video memory test. I'm sure it's going to pass. We're going to be fine. But that's it. Everything else passed. We're good to go. Hard drive has been replaced. Computer's back and good to go. Okay, everything passed. I'm all set. Back to normal again. Computer working like it's supposed to. Good to go. Ready for business or fun or whatever. Good to go. Or Minecraft. Ready to go. Thanks for watching Kung Fu Maintenance.